Dia div, agus fáilte di Terra Incogweirdo mo carjas. Hello and welcome to Terra Incogweirdo, my friends, in another edition of Terra Incogweirdo. Sorry I have been MIA for a few weeks. October's been very intense, and as you can see, I'm fresh out of the shower, and I often do my best thinking in the shower. I don't know about you guys, but that kind of brings me to what I'll be reading today. I have been questioning whether continuing my tarot readings, and indeed the entire Terra Incogweirdo station, is a good idea or not. I'm questioning whether it is healthy for me. Amongst other issues like autism that I've spoken of, and depression and anxiety, I also suffer from obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. And having to get these videos out these full-length videos out once a week, and posting shorts every day has completely fed my OCD monster. And I don't really feel like that is healthy. I do not like to feed into my psychological issues. I do not think that giving in to them is the way to live a happy life. And that's part of the reason why you haven't seen me for the past couple weeks, because I've been really strongly considering whether I should shut down the station or not. So part of my thinking is also, am I bringing value, a positive value to the world and to you, my beautiful Incogweirdos? Do I bring you value through my readings and my other full-length videos and my shorts? So I'm going to ask the cards, and I would also 100% please, no matter if you are a lover or a hater, please weigh in and please comment, because I'm the kind of person that wants to hear all the information. I want to take in all the opinions from the entire spectrum, from negative to positive and anywhere in between, because that's how I assimilate information and how I grow, and that's how I come to my decisions on how to proceed in my life. So whether you're a lover or a hater, I'm asking you to please let me know in the comments. And of course, let's be respectful, to each other, to ourselves, to the cards. If you have something really negative to say, I want to hear it, but please just say it in a civil manner, okay? Thank you. I really appreciate that, because that way I will definitely assimilate your information. But if you're rude and angry and mean, then it's harder to take that sort of information in. Not that I won't, but it kind of taints it. So let's just let's try. I want to foster a open discussion of adults here, and I guess that kind of leads me to something else I've been thinking about a lot. Okay, so I studied ancient history in college. Now, if you want to look me up, I went to the University of Maryland, but I did not graduate. So I'm not gonna try to blow hot air up your skirt and tell you I have a degree in ancient history and archaeology, because that's not true. I did not graduate. However, I was in school, college, for 3 years combined with community college leading into the University of Maryland. Okay, so what I'm about to tell you is an opinion that formed in me beginning with my studies of ancient history and archaeology. And again, I like to keep my mind open, because if I don't, I'm not going to be able to grow. And if I can't grow, then I'm going to die. Okay, so I feel like it's always really important for me, this is my opinion, to keep my mind open. Okay, so my opinion on this subject has not yet changed since I went to college in the 80s, in the 1980s. Okay, so what I learned from studying ancient history and archaeology is that the winner comes along and scrubs the history of the loser. I think it probably really first slapped me in the face with when I was studying ancient Egyptian archaeology and saw how each successive king would come along and chip off all the information that was put on by the previous king and then write their own history. And we're seeing this trend continue very much today. Let's take, for example, this thing that's happening in the national parks in America, where the government has put up this QR code where you can snap the QR code and then inform the government if you take exception to any of the plaques or monuments within the national parks. Now, a lot of people see this as a way for the government to sanction scrubbing history. Okay, now my understanding, I read an article recently from the National Parks Conservation Association that said that many people are using that QR code to support keeping the monuments in place and the information in place. And I recently had a conversation with my son when I visited him in Savannah, when we were standing in front of some of the Confederate soldiers and Confederate general statues. Some people feel that these statues should be taken down because they're offensive. Okay, well, here's my problem. If we scrub our history, how are we ever going to really know what our history is? If you scrub it, how are you supposed to learn from it? Okay, that's my problem. I believe that these monuments and these placards should stay in place, but they should be revised I would say every half century. There should be a plaque next to or installed on the monument or whatever we're talking about that describes how in this such and such a year, this is how our thoughts on the subject have progressed and grown. And this way, if we were to do this, there would be a very clear thread to follow of we started here, we made this change, we made this change, we made this change, whether for the good or for the bad is a matter of opinion, but it would all be there. It would all be there for us to know and comprehend. When you study ancient history, you learn that history has been scrubbed from the time that people could learn to write symbols. Okay, people are coming along and rewriting history to suit themselves. And how in the world are we ever supposed to know our own history and what has happened to us? And if we have grown as a race, if we keep trying to delete what happened before. We need to learn from our mistakes, people. And if we don't know what they are, we can't learn from them. Okay? So that's going to be the second part of my reading today. Will be about well, actually, it'll be a little different than that, and I'll let you know when we get there. Okay, so, well, actually, you know what? I'm because I'm a Gemini and I'm of at least two minds. I think I'm going to switch the order. Okay, so here's what I want to know. I see an alarming trend out there, and this is also something that I've learned through history. It very much has appears now and has always. It's not like this is new, people. That there is a certain population or portion of the world. These are the people that have the most money and who are able to control things like chipping information off of monuments. And also, these are people who own all of our media outlets. And they are writing the dialogue. They are telling us what we should and shouldn't believe, or they're pushing their agenda to us. And it can be said, if you want to talk about right and left, it's across the board, people. This happens on either side of the coin. My concern has always been, and extremely very much today, it seems as though there's a certain portion of the population that wants the rest of us to kill each other. Okay? It seems like we're being pushed harder and harder towards dissension and aggression towards each other because, I'm going to put the cards down, because when the majority of the population of the world hates each other and is fighting each other, we are easier to control and manipulate and use for multiple purposes. And we are kept impoverished, and we are kept down across the board by a system that seems to want to pit us against each other. Now, okay, so cards, am I correct or am I mistaken? Okay, am I an alarmist, or is it indeed true? Is it a truth that there is a small portion of the population in this world that has the majority of the money and controls the finances and the media outlets and the ability to change national monuments and tear down statues and make laws? And I'm not talking about everyone, I'm not trying to make a generalization. There are people out there who are 100% trying to do good. But I'm talking about the portion of the population that is in control of the wealth and in control of the media and in control of the war machine across this globe. Are they attempting to pit us against each other, to make us hate each other so that they can stay in control and keep us oppressed? That's my question. Or am I completely crazy? Okay, this is Terra IncogWeirdo after all. And again, I want to keep my mind open. I'm ready to be corrected if I am wrong. So I would like to know. Okay, bring you guys up here so you can see me messing them all around. Okay, I would like to know if we are being manipulated by a certain portion, we as in the larger portion of the population, are we being incited to violence against each other for the benefit of the richer, smaller portion of population on the planet today? Okay, so let's find out. See what the cards have to say. All right, the card is nature of the question. And immediately we get set reversed, and that means big problems. Like the biggest kind of problems. Okay, reason for asking is Ta upside down. Ta is foundations, and so I'm asking has this problem been my point of view anyway, because this is reason for asking or point of interest. My point of interest through my experience and my studies has been that this has been the party line from the get-go. Okay, factors to be considered is Uraeus reversed. I'm gonna pull out the book, but Uraeus is, and I'm gonna get more into it. But Uraeus is wisdom, and this is wisdom, honesty, and sagacity reversed. Okay, so factors to be considered is that wisdom is being, and honesty is being upended. Solution, advice, or comment given is Anubis reversed. Anubis is the navigator. Okay, so when Anubis is reversed, it means that your ability to navigate has been hindered. Okay, and the outcome is Isis reversed. Okay, so Isis is mother and the motherhood and creation, but it's been reversed. Okay, so none of this is good. Okay, none of this looks good. So let's look a little more into factors to be considered, and let's check out Uraeus reversed to understand the factors that are happening right now. Okay, so let's see. Beware the cunning of the serpent in the form of occult or psychic fakery in particular. Okay, so is this saying that we are being fooled, or is this saying that I am a fake? Okay, so let's ask, am I a fake? We get Sirius upright. Okay, so let's see if this is talking about those powers that be, and that they're using occult rituals against us to control us, or is this me? Okay, so I asked, is this me? And I get Sirius upright, and Sirius upright is saying that blah blah blah. Let me get there. Okay, so Sirius upright, and okay, so this is me. Okay, in regards to this question, and I read this card from the spiritual. The occult fakery is the spiritual level, so I'm going to read this from the spiritual level. Am I a fake? Okay, Sirius upright says universal awareness is keynote. The mind trained to comprehend other forms of existence outside the limited environment of Homo sapiens. Okay, so Sirius energies bless the recipients with the pioneering sense of adventure, people who think ahead sufficiently. Okay, so please feel free to disagree with me, but I am confident in reading Uraeus as the powers that be are circumventing the truth, and they are manipulating us through occult fakery, which, you know, it's out there. I mean, eyes wide shut, people. Many of us have that belief that, or many people have that belief that the powers that be, the 1%, as they say, are using negative occult ritual to control us, and indeed, that seems to be what factors to be considered as saying. Okay, so knowing that we are indeed talking about the 1% here and not me, solution, advice, or comment given. Okay, so Anubis reversed. Let's see what Anubis can tell us. Now we got to figure out if it's giving us advice or if it's just commenting on the situation. Okay, so there you go. Okay, so spiritually, it's saying that we are lost. We have lost our way, because Anubis is all about navigation. Okay, it's also saying question any advice and keep your own counsel. Okay. Well, doesn't that just hit home? Question the information from all sources. Okay? If everybody has their own agenda, how are you supposed to sift out the truth? Okay, well, and again, we're individuals, so what is the truth? Okay, let's just go with opinion. How are you supposed to form your opinions when you know that bullshit is being heaped upon you from all directions? Okay, so if that is the case, I feel like the only answer is to read everything, is to inform yourself of all opinions and to dig, because just adhering to one side or the other is going to create an imbalance in you, and you're not going to be able to navigate any situation effectively. Okay? All right, let's see what else might. Tactlessness, foolhardiness, sick humor, and jokes made at others' expenses, and not good for travel. So this also kind of strikes a chord, and it makes me think of conspiracy theory. Whenever somebody wants to talk about an opinion that is not part of the mainstream, they get branded a conspiracy theorist. Okay, and that's how they discredit ideas that are outside of the party line. Okay, so you have to look at conspiracy theory too, because that's all part of the entirety of opinion. You need to try to base your opinions about what's happening in the world off of the entirety of opinion, and do not be polarized, because being polarized means you're imbalanced. You're not balanced, and you're not seeing things clearly because you're not taking it all in. Okay, so are we being pitted against each other? Do they want us to kill each other so that we are more easily controlled? And we get Isis reversed. Okay. So, Isis reversed represents fraudulent magic and those people who pretend to help us when in fact their motives are far from sincere. My goodness. Someone lacks concern, the cards say. And the implication is manipulation and neglect. Someone who cares more about themselves than they do about everyone else. Okay. And at a material mundane level, it's don't leave your children unattended or with uncaring sitters. So it seems to me that this is backing up my feeling. Okay, the people in power, they don't care about us. they'd be just as happy if we wiped each other out. Okay, and what I would say is don't let them incite you to hate your neighbor, okay? Because they're trying to manipulate all of us. No matter what your opinions are, they are trying to keep us down, and it puts me in mind of the Dark Crystal and the Skeksis like sucking all of the Dark Crystal movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out, or read a little blurb about it so you know what I'm talking about. But the Skeksis are a force for evil, and they literally have these machines where they hook up these cute little gelflings who are, there's way more gelflings than there are Skeksis, okay? And they hook up these cute little gelflings to this machine that literally sucks out their life force. And I feel like that is what is going on. They're trying to suck our life force out. And so the next time you get in an argument with your neighbor, or at Thanksgiving dinner with your uncle or your aunt or your mom or your dad or your child or your partner or whatever, try to keep in mind what's going on here, okay? They want us to hate each other. They want us in dissent. And we have to be able to live in a world where we can listen to everyone's opinions and assimilate them so that we can move forward and grow as earthlings, okay? As an entire race of being on this planet, okay? I feel like it's dangerous to allow ourselves, it's incredibly dangerous to allow ourselves to be forced into hate and violence against each other. So my loving opinion is that we need to be open and accepting of each other's opinions and learn how to integrate everyone's opinions into what happens on the daily in this world. Don't allow the haters to make you hate, okay? Because hate doesn't get us anywhere nice, okay? All right, well, blah blah blah, that's enough of my own opinion and the cards' opinions about what's happening. And so I will pause, put the cards back together, and we will do a reading to find out if any of this is worth anything and if I should keep making these videos, okay? So hang on a second and I'll be right back. BRB. Hello, I am back. Okay, so it occurs to me that the previous reading I just did might get me canceled anyway. So the station might get shut down as a result of the reading I just chose to do. Okay, so my choice might not be a part of whether my station continues or not. Okay, so that being said, I have been concerned that the station is trying to keep the station going is not healthy for me. It's very stressful. But I also get a lot of good out of it, personally. I have ended up meeting some people who have asked me to use my cards offline to help find missing persons and to be able to be of assistance to families and friends that are in pain over a missing person is a blessing. And perhaps that was the end game of tarot Incogweirdo, okay? And maybe, at least if I do stop, I'm still I've been put into a position now where I'm using the cards to work on cases all over the world, okay? So maybe that was the end game. Okay. But what I want to know is, I know for myself that this plays into my OCD nature, and in that way, it's not healthy. And if I do continue, I'm not going to keep myself to this strict schedule of one release premiere every Sunday and a short every day. I'm just going to post when it feels like it's the right time to post. Okay, so the OCD monster has been told to go sit in the corner and put on the dunce hat and look into the corner for the time being. Okay, so what I really want to know, what I want the cards to tell me is my channel and these readings and the full-length videos and the shorts that I do, is it valuable to the community? Okay, is it valuable to you, Incogweirdos? Are you getting positive value from my channel? Because if you're not, why? There's no reason for me to be doing this, because, you know, I am, in my heart, I work for the side of love and compassion. And if this is not a loving and compassionate process or practice, then it needs to stop. Period. End of sentence. So what I want to know is Terra IncogWeirdo providing positive value for my community of Incogweirdos and for the multiverse in general? Is this a positive endeavor? Okay, so let's find out. This could be the last reading, folks, that we ever see here on Terra IncogWeirdo. Nature of the question. Serious upright. Okay, so as we saw last time, that's me. Okay. Reason for asking. Okay, Nephetis is all things that's hidden. So I'm asking about something that I'm confused about and would like clarity on. Factors to be considered as twins. Upright. Okay, so this is indicating I'll bring the book out and we'll read more, okay, about this. But this twins always indicates a partnership of some kind, and this can also be me because I'm a Gemini. Okay, so this could be me. Okay, solution, advice, comment given. Oh, well, winged disc means creation of a masterpiece, and you know, let's see what the outcome is, because you know, if it's backed up by like set reversed, then it would be bye-bye. Okay, so outcome to Tenta Anubis. Okay. This is amazing. Okay, so this is also another card for me. Geminis, guess what? In the Way of the Cartouche deck, because we're Geminis, we get 2 cards. Okay, so twins literally represents Gemini, but think about the Greek pantheon and Mercury, right? And Mercury is the navigator, and Geminis are always the navigators. And we, especially me, I have learned over the years that it's my job to be an intercessor between the land of the living and the spirit realm. It's been made very clear to me that that's my job. Okay, so I'll bring the book out, but okay, you saw me mix all these cards up, right? And none of the cards in this reading, you saw me swirling them around. None of them came up reversed, and those are usually where you find the negative reasons. So factors to be considered, should I continue with twins, is saying, hang on, okay, It involves the principle of integration. While none of us here on earth is perfect, there are degrees of balance, and we should strive to achieve the best possible. Okay. So I think that's kind of covered by my rant at the beginning about me always wanting to take in all opinions so that I may remain balanced. So I think this is indicating that my POV makes me a good candidate for what I'm doing. Because if you try to read the cards and you already have an opinion, you're going to read the cards to your opinion. But I try really, really hard not to do that. And I think in other episodes I've described my mind as being caught in Schrodinger's box with the cat. Like, my mind is always in a state of becoming and being. You never know if I'm alive or if I'm dead or what my thoughts are until the box is open. Well, I kind of view maybe death as the box being open. So while I'm here in life, I'm going to give you another film reference. Chasing Amy. Constant updates. Okay? Constant updates. It's important. All right. So, solution, advice, or comment given. Should I continue? I have wing disc upright, and whether I wanted to retire or not, it seems to me that my cards do not want me to retire. Okay? Because winged disc upright says wise guidance is implied, as well as all forms of higher spiritual inspiration. Winged disc also express the deep inner joy to be gained from the revelation of true knowledge. Oh, geez, well, that just made my heart cockles warm. So maybe I am doing an okay job. And maybe I just, we all go through periods of being worn out and tired. And I definitely just went through that period. Okay, so the outcome. It seems to me like the cards are saying I should continue. And the outcome is Anubis upright. Okay. Okay, so it says that Anubis upright in the spiritual level says that the inquirer is not likely to suffer from psychic or spiritual self-delusion. At this level, Anubis is an occultist's best friend, and understand that occult is a term that's used for psychic practices, whether they're negative or positive. Okay, so they're talking about the occult in its entirety, in its full form. Okay. So diplomacy and a sense of humor are strongly featured, and also careful speech and the ability to steer a straight course through life's troubled waters should the need arise. And on a mundane level, navigation is covered by Anubis. So again, this is speaking to my core personality. This is over 62 years, and I keep telling you guys that I have Anubis tattooed on my body, so I guess maybe this might be the time to show you. And I may have showed you before, but here you go. So you see, there it is. See Anubis back there? And that's to remind me that my job in life is to help others navigate this realm. And because for myriad reasons, which you will discover if you go through my back catalog of experiences from birth, my psychic and paranormal experiences from birth. This is how not only Creator created me and made me, but this is how every instance of my life has funneled me into this direction. So, for better or for worse, it appears that I shall be continuing. Now, once again, please weigh in with your comments. I would love to hear your opinions, and please, again, just be respectful. If you don't like what I'm doing, please let me know, and I will interact with you. Okay, that's assuming that YouTube doesn't shut me down. Okay, so I guess we'll find out. All right, well, this is getting a bit long-winded, so I'm going to wrap up here for today and say that I guess I'll be seeing you again unless the powers that be decide they want to squash little old me. I will continue sailing the seas of cheese. Wait a minute. If I'm going to make a musical reference, I may as well. Come with us, we'll sail the seas of cheese. Okay, so, yeah, that's a Primus song, Primus album. So, powers that be willing, I'll be back, and we will continue trying to seek the truth and listen to all opinions in a balanced way. Okay, and that being said, if you have any questions for my cards, please send them in to me to Terra IncogWeirdo@gmail.com. The address is down in the description. And also, if you have stories of the strange and paranormal, really where my heart lies, I'd love to tell your stories. Send them in to me and I'll read them here, and I'll also do some research on the subject, and we can also talk about if I've had any experiences with what you're writing in about. But also, please subscribe, because YouTube doesn't really push me, doesn't really want to help me get out there. So liking, subscribing, and sharing can really help. And there's that new thing where you can boost a video or something. I've seen it. I don't know if you have to pay for that. I don't know what it is. But if it's there, hype me. God, I hate that word. Yeah, it's a hype button. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that term. But I do believe that helps, get the content out, and that would be greatly appreciated. Because look, we're trying to understand the truth underneath the mountains of horse hockey that has been piled upon us as a race for the past how many ever thousands of years that we've been existent as a civilization, as various civilizations on this planet. So yeah, come with me, we'll sail the seas of cheese, and hopefully we will find some truth in that queso. Alright guys, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all, and I wish wonderful things for you. So I'll see you next time here on Terra IncogWeirdo, the land where para is normal. Slango fall, you most beautiful and loved Incogweirdos. Bye-bye.